I just built this MCP AI Agent Army with n8n, and I'm going to share this template for free. This MCP Agent Army can manage your emails, social media, calendars, research, accounting, or even your CRM all on autopilot, and it's now much easier with MCP. Let me show you how this works. So if I send a simple message on Telegram like find me top restaurants in NYC, the research agent kicks in. And if I say lock this receipt, the accounting agent adds it to Google Sheet with just a single prompt. And I simply ask it to schedule a 30-minute meeting for the AndyNoCode AI automation discussion. The calendar agent will schedule accordingly. And the best part, there's no code at all. The entire system is built in n8n, drag and drop style, fully automated. If you're new to n8n or AI agents, this is probably the best place to start. You're not just building tools, you are building an MCP agent army. And MCP is the real trend today. So watching this tutorial in the next few minutes will be your best investment today. If you're new here, my name is Andy. I've uploaded all the workflows in this tutorial into our free AndyNoCode community. So if you are an action taker, you can just import this whole system and set it up today. If you need further tech support, or you would like to learn and grow with other AI agency owners, feel free to join our premium community as well. We'll make sure to solve 100% of your tech issues. Alright, so let's dive into how this MCP AI Agent Army works. Alright, so this is our MCP Agent Army template. We can see we are using Telegram as a trigger, and this is our AI agent, and we are using Anthropic chat model. And these are our MCP agents, as you can see. Research agent, sales agent, Gmail agent, Google Calendar agent, document agent, accounting agent, social media agent, and then utilities agent. And let's do the demo one by one. First of all, let's try to click test workflow. And let's say, hi, what can you do? And we can see it's loading here. Great. So communication, calendar management, information research, data management, etc. So actually, let's try to do some research. For example, we can ask, could you search for top restaurants in NYC? You can click test workflow. Okay, it's calling the memory. And then using the research agent here. So these are the restaurants. Great. Ask another question. For example, we can ask, find the email address for the restaurant called Brenda's French, so food, French, and Southern cuisine. Test workflow. And by the way, if you don't want to click test workflow every single time, you can just click enable active. I mean, turn this workflow to be active. But we just want to show you how this AI agent is working, which agent tool is using. So that's why we click test workflow here. Okay, so we have the location, phone, website. Okay, so we have everything ready. Then the next step, we can try to ask the agent, can you save it to the sales Google Sheet? So for the sales Google Sheet, I'm referring to this one. This one. Let's click test workflow. Okay, couldn't find the specific email address. Okay, let's see. Please help to research and fill in all the relevant information in the Google Sheet. Test workflow. It's loading. Okay, so we got all the data here. We have the name, website, phone, first name, last name, email. Okay, so we can go check our Google Sheet here. So basically everything here. The phone is showing errors because of this plus icon. Okay, so everything's ready. Then we can try to test another agent. So for example, we can ask the Gmail agent to help us draft an email. So could you draft a cold outreach email for sharing with them about AndyNoCode community? Test workflow. Alright, so we got the draft here. Okay. Got a subject. Okay. Sure, please save it as a draft. Don't need to add my phone number. Test workflow. Okay, so let's try to refresh. Great. It's nice. Then we can actually test another agent. We can click test workflow first. Then we can type here, for example, could you schedule a 30-minute meeting for the AndyNoCode AI automation discussion on April 15, 2025 at 2 p.m. Hong Kong time. So as you can see, there's nothing here yet. Great, successfully scheduled. So let's check. Great. All right, the next one, then we can try to use the document agent here. So we can say, now prepare a proposal for our AndyNoCode community. Test workflow. Okay, so what's the purpose? What's the target audience? Okay. As for targeting AI agency owners, we just want to tell them we are committed to be their technical partners. Test workflow. Okay, it's using the document agent now. Great, let's check. So it should be in our Google Sheets. In our Google Drive. So let's try check. Okay, dedicated technical partners for AI agencies. Great, value proposition, services, partnership model, everything is here. Great, even provide the already reserved. Nice. Next, we can actually test this accounting agent. We can actually upload an image here. This is a receipt. You can ask, could you record this receipt? Test workflow. It's analyzing this image here for the receipt. It's empty for now for this Google Sheet record. Okay, successfully recorded. Let's check. Great. Let's check the amount. 356.4. The date. Correct. So that's great. So let's test the final agent, which is the social media agent. We can ask the agent to post a 5-thread post on my threads to say that AndyNoCode community is committed to be the tech partner of all AI agency founders. And then we can click test workflow here. So this is our thread account. The new post is not uploaded yet. Great, successfully posted. So let's check. Let's try refresh. Great, this is our new threads post. Great. So that's it. So we have already demonstrated how we can use the research agent, sales agent, Gmail agent, calendar agent, document agent, accounting agent, social media agent, and also the utilities agent with this MCP Agent Army system. So I'll dive into each workflows and each node one by one and share with you how we can set it up as well. All right, before we dive into the nodes one by one, let's make sure that we have the correct n8n version first. So for n8n Cloud, we can go to app.n8n.cloud/dashboard. Then we can click this setting icon. Then we can click this drop-down menu and choose the 1.88.0 latest beta version. Okay, then we can save the changes. So that's it for n8n Cloud. Then we can go back to n8n, open, and try to create workflow. And then click this three dots icon, import from file. Then we can open this MCP workflow. Great. So we can see different MCP clients nodes as well. Great. So that's it for the cloud version. So let's do the local version. So for localhost, please check out my another video below in the description for how to set up your Docker and try to install your n8n. Please make sure to install the 1.88 version as well. 1.88.0. You go to Docker Hub, search for n8n, and then choose this one, and then just choose 1.88. Okay, and then click pull. Okay, so after you have successfully installed, so what we are going to do, we need to go to ngrok.com to set up a new domain. So we can go to dashboard.ngrok.com/domain. Okay, so what are the domains? So domains are the endpoints that accept HTTP requests, and TLS traffic. Because we are using localhost instead of n8n Cloud, so we need to have this in order to use the Telegram webhook. Okay, so after we create this new domain, we can click this icon, Start Tunnel, and you can see copy and paste the following into your terminal. So you can copy this, and then we can actually go to terminal, paste it, and try to run it. And after you run it, you'll be able to see this URL. So you can see it's forwarding this URL. Okay. What we can do, we can click run, optional setting. Remember, we will type 567 as the host, as a host port. Then for the environment variables, we can actually input this webhook URL and paste it here. For the value, we'll just copy this one and paste it here. Okay, so that's how we can use the webhook successfully in local n8n. Okay. All right. So for the webhook URL, we can actually see the configuration here. So when we scroll down, when we search for webhook _URL, so we use it to manually provide the webhook URL when running n8n behind a reverse proxy. So again, we need to add this webhook as the environment variables paste here. And again, we need to add this webhook URL as the environment variables here, and this URL as a value. All right. And remember to check out the video below for the setup. And now you should be able to import your templates and see the MCP client's notes here. And you can also run the Telegram trigger node successfully. All right, so let's get started. As you can see, this is the system of our MCP Agent Army, and we have provided all the templates you need. The MCP Agent Army, the Account Agent, Social Media Agent, Calendar Agent, Document Agent, Gmail Agents, Research Agent, Sales Agent, Utilities Agent. And we'll go through them all one by one. And remember to turn all of them active as well. And you can turn this MCP Agent Army active as well if you want to communicate directly back and forth with the Telegram. All right, so let's talk about this main system first. And we will add this Telegram trigger. Okay. And basically what we need to set up first is the credential. You can click this pen icon and you can see we need to have the access token. So first of all, we will go to botfather. So you can search for botfather in Telegram. Then you can try to create a bot. For example, click this icon, new bot. Okay, then you will be asked for writing the name of the bot and then a username of the bot as well. Then you'll be given a access token. All right, so you can copy this and paste it here. That's how it works. Then next step, we are going to add the switch node here. Okay, this one. All right, so for this switch node, we can see there are different routing rules. The first one is the file. The second one is the image. This one's for the voice, and this one's for the text. Because we are going to receive different types of messages from Telegram, so we are going to route to different path for different processing. All right, so let's try to do the text part first. We can click test workflow and try to send a test message through Telegram. Then we can see all the other parts is red and this is green because we have the result here where we hover over this, and this are all undefined. And we can actually, for this part, we can just drag and drop this. Okay, it's very simple. And we can just choose string exist. Okay, and enable rename output and use text as the output name. Next, what we can do, let's try to just voice. Hello, testing 1, 2, 3. Okay, we can click test workflow. So we got the voice here. You can see the screen. So what we can do is just drag and drop this part here. Okay, so you can see a screen. And again, go to string, assist, and rename the output as voice. All right, for the image, we can actually try to test it with an image. We can try to upload here. All right. Send. And you can see it's green as well. So we can go to expression and try to enlarge this. For the beginners here, when you see JSON is referring to the previous node. So we are getting the previous node, which is the Telegram trigger, message, photo. And basically we are going to drag and drop this. Okay. But what you can see this part. What it means is that because you can see there are multiple objects here, 0, 1, 2. So there are actually 3 items. So you can see -1 because we would like to get the 2, photo 2. The reason is that we would like to get the highest resolution, the largest image version, as you can see. That's why we are going to select that. So when we actually remove this, you'll see it turns to object and object. So we cannot get the correct result from this. So we need to delete the space after this. So we can see it's actually correctly getting this part. All right, so that's it. Again, you need to choose object this time, exist. And then if it exists, we try to rename this output to image. Then after that, we're going to put we're going to try the file part. Let's try to test workflow and upload a file. For example, this one. Okay, we can see there's a file. You can see a screen as well when we click this. Basically, we can go to message, document, file name, drag and drop. Okay, that's how it works. We have all these 4 different file types all set. Then we are going to link it respectively to the correct path, right? So that's how it works. All right, so after we set up the switch node, let's talk about these different paths one by one. Let's talk about the file one first, as it's already processed. So we add another Telegram node. So get a file, connect with the Telegram credential, file, resource, get operation. For this part, we can just drag and drop this. Okay, test step. Okay, we have the output here, and it's turning green. We are going to add another OpenAI node here. We're going to upload file. So for the credentials, you can just click this pen icon, paste your API key from platform.openai.com. API keys, create a new secret key, and then just copy them and paste it here. Don't need to change any other thing unless you are using Open Router. You need to change your base URL to the Open Router as well. Feel free to check out the link below for that Open Router setup. All right, then we have file as a resource, or upload a file as the operation, data, input data field name. Right, we can click test step. So we have the output here. The next step, we are going to use OpenAI node as well. We're going to create an assistant. Again, connect with your OpenAI account, assistant as a resource, create an assistant as the operation. You can choose your own preferred model. We just choose GPT-4o, and we can name it as PDF chat assistant, for example, because of course it's assuming that we're uploading the PDF files. Okay, you're a file assistant and will you answer user question. For the non-retrieval, we'll enable this. And for the files, we can just drag and drop this file ID. Okay, we can click test step. Okay, the server has an error processing your request. You can retry your request. Let's try to process this again. Okay, so I believe it was the wrong file type because I uploaded a zip file. But when we uploaded the PDF, it should be able to process because this is a PDF chat assistant that we created. Okay. So we have successfully got the details and output here. So what we can do, we can just link it back here and add another node, OpenAI assistant. We can actually choose message and assistant. Again, connect with your resources. I connect with your credentials account and choose assistant, resource, message, and assistant of the operation. For the assistant, you can choose by ID and just drag and drop this ID here. All right. Then next, for the source of the prompt, we can choose define below. All right. For this part, we will have the caption because when we upload the file, we can actually input the caption. For example, we can input the caption here, but at the in the previous demo, we just did an input, so it is showing as red is undefined. And we can just ask it to extract the data from the file. All right. So we will have the use memory connector 5 retries. So you can add options here. And this one we choose max retries. Okay. Click test step. All right, it's done. Then we are going to add another node we can call set or edit fields. So we are going to define the output content from the previous node as chat input. It's a string value, okay? And of course, this is the user query again. We didn't input the caption, so it is showing as red. If you input the captions when uploading a file, it will be shown as green. All right. So we can also test step here. Okay, so it's a chat input. All right, so let's try to do the image path. So we can actually send and upload an image. Could you upload this image for the receipt? This is the caption. So we can see it is routed to the image path. Then we can actually connect it to this here. We can see Telegram. We can also get a file here. Okay, so this time we are going to get the file ID. So as you can see, JSON message photo. JSON is referring to the previous node, and then message photo. Okay, and we are going to choose the maximum resolution. So we're going to choose photo number 2 because there are 3 items. 3 minus 2, it was 3 minus 1 equals to 2. So we are going to add this to make sure that we are going to get the number 2 items, or we can say the last object in this photo. And we're going to get the file ID from this. So you can see this is the same result as this. Okay, so we can click enable download as well. Test that. All right, we have the file name as the data. Then we are going to add this node. This is called the code node because we are going to make sure that it has the correct MIME type. MIME is referring to multi-purpose internet mail extension type. Basically, it's like different, like the nature of the format of this file, like JPEG, PNG, JPG, etc. So we just want this kinds of format. So that's why we would like to make sure if this returning to the correct MIME type. So we can click test step. So it's correct. So this is the JPEG, JPG. Then we're going to add an OpenAI node for the image analyzer. Analyze an image. So we can choose image resource, analyze image of the operation, and this is the model that we choose. All right, we will answer the user question here. Then we can just go to the Telegram trigger node, and we'll find the caption under the message. Okay, caption is here, so we can drag and drop this one. Okay, so you can see this is the same caption that we typed here. Then we can choose input type as the binary files, and then we have the data input data field name, which is this one. Okay, then we will enable the simplified output test step. Okay, as you can see, it is because of the caption that I put here. I said upload this image, you cannot upload image. So let's try again to use another wordings. Let's try to upload again. Try to click test workflow, photo, receipt. You can say, could you record this receipt? So the processing is started. You can see that I'm unable to record the documents or data, but I can help you extract, organize the information. So this is exactly the data that we want. And then for the next node, again, we'll have the set node here. At the fields, we are going to define this output content as chat input. For the user query, again, we are going to get the caption here, drag and drop. Sorry, just drag and drop here. Okay, for the image extraction agent result, it should be this one, and just drag and drop this one. Then basically test step. So this is defined as chat input now. All right, so after that, let's talk about the next route, which is the voice. All right, for the next node, we are going to do the voice. So we can click test workflow, try to record a voice message here. Okay. Hello, can you help me with some work, please? Okay, so we can see it's routed to the voice path, and then we can actually add a Telegram node again to get the file, connect this. Okay. So we will choose file as a resource, get as the operation, file ID. We can just go to voice, drag and drop this here. Test step, great, it's working. We have the output here. Then for the next step, we are going to use OpenAI Node. All right, we are going to transcribe a recording. Audio as the resource, transcribe a recording as the operation, data as the input data field name. So when you click binary, we have this data. So this is the data, input data field name. So we can click test step. Hello, can you help me with some work, please? So it is exactly the words that I just put in the recording message. Then we are going to add another edit fields node. This is for, again, setting it as the chat input, string, and just drag and drop this JSON text like this. Test step. Great. It's defined as the chat input. Again, it's this string value. All right. So last but not least, we are going to do the test. The text. So we can just say, for example, hi. So we can see it's routed to the text path directly. It's the easiest. You can just define this as the chat input. So let's try to, when you see it's red because it's not yet connected to this. So when we see it's connected, we can actually go to message, text, drag and drop this part. Basically, that's how it is. And then you can click test step. Great. So basically, this is the setup for Telegram. And then we can actually go to the AI agent part. All right, so let me try to activate this again. We can click this icon. Okay, so for this one, we can search for AI agent, this one. So we can see the chat model, memory, tools. So for the model, we can actually edit here. Okay, so we can edit here. And then you can see different models. And we chose Anthropic chat model, which is this one. So we can actually link it back. Okay, so we are using our Anthropic account, so you can actually click this to set up as well. So you just need to paste the API key. You can go to console.anthropic.com/dashboard, get API keys, and then you can create the API key and then just paste it here. Okay, so for the next step, we are going to choose the model, Claude 3.7 Sonnet. Then the next step, we are going to add the memory. There are different types of setup that you can use. We just choose the most simple memory. Section ID, we just choose define below. Basically, it's according to the message chat ID. And context window length 5. So basically, it's getting the past 5 interactions the model receive as a context. All right. Then for the tools, basically these are the MCP clients. So we can search for the MCP client tool. Connect tools from an MCP server. Okay. So for example, this one is our research agent. All right. So basically, there's a research server, or you can say that. We can see that this is the SSE endpoint. So what exactly is SSE endpoint? Okay, so SSE stands for Server Sent Events, and SSE endpoint is a server URL, usually HTTP or HTTPS, that a client connects to in order to receive real-time updates from the server over a single or long-lived HTTP connection. So that is the definition of SSE endpoint. And as you can see, this part is exactly the same as this URL. It's just that for the later part, you will see MCP/research/SSE. When we go to the research agent, the MCP server, when we click this trigger, we will see it is named as research. All right. When we take a look at the sales agent, the sales server, or you can say, and you can see MCP/sales/SSE. When we go to the sales MCP server, when we hover over this, we can see it is named as sales as a path. So you can see we can the pattern is we will have this URL as the beginning part, /MCP, and then / the path name of that server, and then /SSE as the end. All right, so basically it's very simple. It's much more easier to set it with MCP client 2 for connecting with your MCP server. And I'll go through each server one by one. All right. So for this is, you can just paste the SSE endpoint for research agent server. This is for the Excel server. This is Gmail server, Google Calendar server, document server, accounting server, social media server, utility server. Okay. And then basically we are just adding them. Last note, send message. Okay, this one. So you can see that this node is connected to your Telegram account. Message is resource. Send message is the operation. We can try to process this. Okay, then we can actually see that it's turning green again. We can go to the Telegram trigger, and then we can actually see this chat ID, and then drag and drop here. All right. For this part, it's referring to the output file from the previous node, which is the AI agent. You can just drag and drop. All right. So none as the reply markup. Append n8n attribution. What it means is, for example, when we enable this test step, you will see this message was sent automatically with n8n. Originally, it was not up here. When we just add fields, append and try to disable this, we will see that there's no more phrase like this. So that's why we need to add this as the additional field and try to disable this. All right. So basically it's the quick setup for this MCP Agent Army, and I'm going to dive into each MCP server one by one. All right, so let's talk about the research server first. So we can go to the workflows, the research agent or research server. So we can actually add an MCP server trigger. Okay, so expose n8n tools as an MCP server endpoint. So these are the tools, and we are going to create an MCP server endpoint with this whole setup. All right. So when we click this, you can see test URL and production URL. We're going to use production URL for this. As you can see, this is MCP. For this test URL, it's MCP-test. So we are going to use MCP instead of the test URL. And then authentication, we set none. For the path, we input research because it is the research MCP. And for the tools, we are going to add 4 example tools. For the HTTP request tool, we have the web crawler, map searcher, perplexity search, and YouTube searcher. Okay. First of all, we are going to use this web crawler. We can input the URL for scraping the website content. And the URL the method we have is get method. We have the URL for scrap.server.dev. For authentication, we choose generic credential type. We have header auth, and then we can click this pen icon to set up. For the name, we need to input x-api-key. All right. Then we can go to server.dev/api-key. After you have registered, you can actually copy this API key and then paste it here. That's all set for your header auth. All right. Then we can enable this send query parameters using fields below. For the query parameters, we have URL as name, and then by model, and it's required for the value provided. All right. Then for another node, this is another tool. It's for the map searcher. This is for helping us to scrap all the content information for lead gen from Google Map. All right. Again, we use the get method, but this time we are using another URL, the google.serp.dev/maps. Same credential setup for the server. enable send query parameters using fields below. Query parameters, we have Q, LL, page, these 3 parameters, all right? Then we have another tool for this YouTube searcher. This bot will search videos from YouTube with following parameters. Okay. For example, like the query, the country, location, language, date, range, result. Again, we are going to use get method. The URL, we're going to use google.server.dev/videos. Same authentication settings. We have Q as a query parameter. Query parameter, we have GL, HL, TBS, NUM. Okay. So basically, these are the parameters. All right. Last but not least, for the testing, for this demo example, for this research MCP server, we have the last tool, which is the percentage search. This tool helps you to search from internet results, capacity pass questions as parameters for the searching questions. And we are going to use post method here. Okay. The previous few tools we use get method, but for this we are going to use post method. All right. For the URL, we are going to use api.perplexity.ai/chat/completions. For the credential setup, we are going to use header auth as well. So we can click this pen icon and put authorization under name. And then we can go to perplexity.ai/account/API. After you set up your payment, you'll be able to copy your API key. But be aware of that. We need to add bearer space before we add the API key. Again, we need to add bearer space, then with your API key, all together, paste as a value here. All right. Then we enable send body and specify body using JSON below. All right. So we can actually see this. We are using the Sona model, which is provided by Perplexity. This is a message, row, user, content, question. So we have the questions that is posted from that we got from the AI agent. All right, so then we can save it. So that's it for the setup for this research MCP server. All right, then we are going to talk about the sales agent, the sales server. So basically, this demo is very simple. We have just 2 tools. You can think of it as your CRM. For simplicity, we just use Google Sheet as your CRM. You can use Notion, GoHello, or different other CRMs. So we have this tool, search for Google Sheets. All right, so this is for the writing. So we are going to get rows, sheet within document, set automatically. Connect with your Google Sheet account. Basically, we can click this pen icon, and then we can go to console.cloud.google.com and try to search for Google Sheets API. Make sure that you have enabled this. Okay, after you have enabled this, then you'll go to credentials, create credentials, OAuth client ID, and then we can choose a web application, name your web application, and then we need to add URLs here. We're going to copy this OAuth redirect URL and paste it here. All right. After you create this, you will be able to access your own OAuth client ID. For example, this. Then we can actually copy the client ID and then the client server key to here. All right. Then you can sign in with your Google account. This is the setup for localhost n8n. If it is for an account, it's much easier. You can just sign in with your Google account. All right. Then you need to choose your own document from list, or you can use it, just paste your URL, etc. So you can, this is the Google Sheet that we are referring to. And then for this particular sheet, it's called sales. This is the sheet that we're referring to. Combine filters, we choose and. And for this one, we are going to append sheets because we're going to write the data into the Google Sheets. Again, same setup. It's just that we are going to map a column mode and map each column manually. And you can see there are different column names. Name, email, first name, last name, etc. All the column names are shown here. And the best point is that we don't need to actually write this expression by ourselves. We can just click this icon, let the model define these parameters, and we can do all this action for all the columns. And this is much easier. So that's it. That's how we can set up this CRM or sales server. All right, for the next server, we're going to use the Gmail server. Okay, this one. We can go to workflow, try and find it here. Okay, as you can see, there are a couple of tools set up for Gmail. You can actually set it up here as well, Gmail tool. Then let's actually click one of them. First of all, we need to set up for the credentials for the Gmail account. We can click this pen icon. Basically, it's the same settings. We need to copy the client ID and the secret key from the Google Cloud Console and then connect with your own Google account. Then you have the credential setup for Gmail set. But again, remember to enable the Gmail API as well. Okay, make sure that you have enabled this Gmail API. All right, so that's how it works. Then for this note, we are going to set automatically for the tool description, message as a resource, get menu as the operation. Again, we just use this, let the model defines these parameters as the limit, enable simplify, unread emails only for status, and then try to let the model define for the sender description, leave it empty if not specific, if it's not specified. Okay, so and then for other notes, this is the get message note. This is the send message note when we're using HTML type, but of course you can choose the text type. It's just the formatting issue. And this is the reply email note tool. This is the delete email tool. This is the draft email tool, and this is a tool that we used in our demonstration. And this is the L label tool, this is the remove label tool, and this is the get many labels tool. All right, and there are many more Gmail tools, but this is just for demonstration. These are the tools that we illustrated here. All right, let's talk about this Google Calendar server. We have this MCP server trigger again. We have Google-Calendar as a path. For the previous one, we just use Gmail as a path. The sales one, we just use sales as a path for the CRM MCP server trigger. And then for this Google Calendar server, we are going to just add several Google Calendar tools. Calendar tool, okay. So it's for creating the calendar event, get the single event, get many event, and update the event. So you can add many more other actions. These are just for examples. For creating a calendar event, first of all, we need to connect with your Google Calendar. Again, so use the same client ID, client secret key, and sign in with your Google account. All right. Again, remember to go to Google Cloud Console to enable the Google Calendar as well. All right. So we need to go to Google Calendar and try to enable this as well. All right. Then we go back here. We'll set the tool description automatically and use event as a resource, create as the operation. Then we can choose from your list for what kind of calendar that you want. For example, we just choose demo as our calendar. For the starting time and ending time or date, you can just let the model define as well. Default parameter reminders we can use just defined by the model as well. And in order to specify the subject or the title of that calendar event, we need to add a field called summary. That is basically the title or subject for that particular calendar event. and you can specify this is the title of the calendar event. All right, then we can actually choose get single event as a resource, get as the operation. Just choose like by ID and define automatically by the model, and the event ID defined automatically by the model. So basically we can go to calendar tools and choose different actions here. All right, so that's how we can set it up. For get all events, we can choose get many event as a resource as well, again from this calendar, and then we can actually define everything by the model. This is for updating the event. Calendar ID defined automatically by the model as well. Other fields as well. Great, so that's it for the quick setup for this calendar server. All right, let's talk about the document server. All right, so we have the tools and also the MCP server trigger here. We add document as a path, and then we add Google Doc as a tool. So there are a couple of actions here. So this one, we need to connect with your credentials first. Again, just go to Google Cloud Console and just paste your client ID and also client secret key. Sign in with your Google account, but make sure you have enabled the Google Docs API as well. Okay, then we go back here. So for this tool description, we just set automatically, use document as a resource, get as the operation. We will just use this to let the model defines this parameter as well, and then enable the simplify action. For this one is for us to create the Google Docs. Just set automatically for the tool description, document as a resource, create as the operation, and then you can just copy your folder ID, for example this one, and then paste it here. For the title, you can just define automatically by the model as well. Then we can have this update Google Doc tool. We use document as a resource, update as the operation. Again, let the model define the document ID and also or URL. Enable simplify. And then tags as the object, insert as the action, body as the insert segment at the end of. So we will go to insert the new part at the end of the specific section. Then the text is defined automatically by the model. So that's the setup for this document server. And this is a server that helps us to prepare the proposal. All right, so let's talk about the accounting server now. Again, MCP server trigger, we use accounting as the path, and we are just going to use Google Sheets as a tool. This one. And this is for the reading the Google Sheets. This is for appending the Google Sheets. Okay, and this time we are going to use the receipt sheets. This one. Basically, the settings is similar to the sales server, and also this as well. Okay, and we have the columns for from the sheets of the receipt. So receipt day, description, amount, all defined automatically by the model. And then we choose append row as the operation. Okay, so that's it for this accounting server. Now let's talk about this social media agent, the social media server. And this is the MCP social media server trigger that we set up. We can see this is the path, and it's exactly the same here. Okay. We have two tools. As we can see, this one is the workflow. Call n8n workflow tool is calling this workflow here. And for this one is for the Facebook Graph API tool. Let's talk about the first one first. Basically, it's referring to post threads tool. This tool posts content directly to threads, supporting single post or multi-post threads with proper formatting for engaging delivery. And then we use database as a source, and then by ID. Basically, you can see this is the same workflow ID as this one. Okay, because we are going to call this workflow here. So we are going to use this workflow ID. And then we will have the status field to return. And it's referring to this. Okay. And for this note, we are going to add this for posting to Meta Facebook page. This tool enables direct posting to Facebook, ensuring inputs is formatted in a single post to your company page via API. And then we're going to use post as the HTTP request method, version 22 as the Graph API version. This is a node. And so I'm going to share where you can access all the details instruction of getting this node later. Okay. And then for the edge, we choose feed, and then we put message as the name. For the value, we just define automatic by the model. Okay. So we can see this is the workflow for sending threads, and we can see this is a setting for posting to Facebook page. And this is kind of complicated, so that's why I created another tutorial. It's also for MCP setup for this social media MCP server. So you can check out that video for all details, like how you can get your nodes, how you can get your API from Meta, how you can get your API for threads, and what kind of workflows and what kind of details you need to be aware of. Please check out that video for the social media MCP server setup. And I have put the link in the description below as well for the social media MCP server setup. All right, so let's talk about the last server setup for this utilities agent server. Basically, this is for Utils, and we can go to this workflow setup. This is the MCP server for utilities, and we can actually see this utils as the path, which is the same as here. All right, so basically it's there are just a couple of tools here. We just choose the date and time tool. It's for getting the current date. It's for getting the current date. And we just defined automatic by the model for the current time. And output field name, we will just put this as current date. For this one, it's just adding days to a date. For example, date to add to, defined automatic by the model, and time unit to add, like the number of days. You can choose years, quarters, month as well. And for the duration, defined automatically by the model, output new field name, which is new date. Okay. And add hours to a date as well. So we'll just input the time units as hours, like input the new date as the output field name. All right. This is the calculator. You can just search it from here. This MCP server is quite important for us to deal with the dates, for example, for calendar scheduling, etc. So this is the setup for this. And now, congratulations, you have completed your first MCP Agent Army setup. In the game, you can download all these templates from our free community. And if you would like to have some more technical support, and also you would like to go deeper and learn more about n8n workflows, or you would like to get all other templates that we have already covered, feel free to join our premium community as well. Thank you very much. I will see you in our next video.